World Renewal Ceremony, Episode 14, Breaking the Scarcity Trap, How Systemic Trauma Creates a Lack Mindset. Opening music and intro. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you work, save, or plan for the future, it's never enough? Like the idea of wealth, abundance, and freedom always feels just out of reach? Maybe you've seen people around you struggle with money, with resources, with time, with opportunities, never quite breaking free, always caught in a cycle of just getting by. What if I told you that this cycle isn't just about personal choices, but something deeper, something that's been programmed into us by history, by systems, by generational trauma? That for many of us, the reason abundance feels so difficult to access is because we've inherited a scarcity mindset passed down through our families, our communities, and even our DNA. Welcome to World Renewal Ceremony, where we explore the deep connections between consciousness, energy, and the reality we create. I'm Rocky Holland, and today we're breaking down the scarcity trap, how systemic trauma has created a generational lack mindset, how this programming keeps people stuck, and how we can rewrite the script to reclaim abundance. What is the scarcity mindset and where did it come from? The scarcity mindset is the belief that there's never enough money, never enough resources, never enough time, never enough security. It's a deeply ingrained fear that you have to fight for what you get, that success is rare, that survival is uncertain. Now, on the surface, that might sound like common sense. But what if I told you that this mindset was intentionally created? That it was built, reinforced, and passed down through generations? Not because it's true, but because it serves a system that thrives on keeping people in survival mode? So you're saying this isn't just about being bad with money or not working hard enough, it's a programmed way of thinking? Exactly. If you grew up in a family or community where people always struggled financially, where money was scarce, where opportunities were limited, then that becomes your normal. It's not just about what you learn. It's about how your brain and nervous system were wired. The science of scarcity, how trauma rewires the brain for lack. Let's talk about the neuroscience behind this. When people experience chronic scarcity, whether it's financial stress, food insecurity, or lack of stability, the brain goes into survival mode. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for long-term planning and creativity, shuts down while the amygdala, the fear center, takes over. That means your brain literally stops seeing possibilities and focuses only on immediate survival. You make decisions based on what will get you through right now, rather than what will build long-term success. That explains why people who grow up in poverty often struggle with planning for the future. It's not a lack of intelligence, it's that their brains were wired for survival. Exactly, and this is where it gets deeper. If your parents or grandparents grew up in poverty, their brains adapted to that scarcity. And because trauma affects epigenetics, those survival instincts may have been biologically passed down to you. So when we talk about breaking the cycle, we're not just talking about financial habits. We're talking about rewiring the nervous system out of survival mode and into creation mode. How systemic oppression creates generational scarcity. Now let's look at the bigger picture. This isn't just a personal issue. Scarcity was built into the system. For centuries, governments, banks, and institutions have created policies that block wealth accumulation for certain groups, while ensuring others have access to generational wealth. Some examples: redlining and housing discrimination. Black and immigrant communities were denied home loans for decades, while white families built wealth through home ownership. Unequal education funding. Public schools in poorer areas receive less funding, limiting access to the same resources that wealthy districts get. Mass incarceration and job discrimination. Criminal records for minor offenses prevent access to high-paying jobs, keeping entire communities in economic instability. When you add all this together, what do you get? Generations of people locked into survival mode, believing that money and success are scarce, that they have to fight for every dollar, and that true abundance is only for other people. Breaking the scarcity trap. How to shift into an abundance mindset. Now here's where we change the narrative. If scarcity is a learned mindset, that means abundance is too. Just like trauma can be inherited, so can healing. When we shift from survival mode to abundance mode, we don't just change our own lives, we change the lives of future generations. So, how do we start breaking the scarcity trap? Here are 3 steps. Rewiring the nervous system, teaching your body that it's safe to receive. If you've spent your whole life in survival mode, your nervous system might actually resist abundance. Start with small moments of peace. Meditation, breath work, affirmations like I am safe to receive. Rewire your response to money. Instead of fear, start associating it with possibility. Challenging inherited beliefs, questioning the money stories you were taught. Ask yourself, what did I learn about money from my parents, from my community? Do these beliefs actually serve me? Replace limiting beliefs with expansive ones. Instead of money is hard to make, shift to opportunities flow to me. Expanding your vision, acting from abundance before it arrives. Instead of waiting for wealth to feel abundant, start practicing abundance in small ways, giving, investing in yourself, celebrating the resources you have. Surround yourself with new perspectives. Read about wealth, learn from those who have broken the cycle. The quantum perspective, abundance as a frequency. Let's take this to an energetic level. If everything is vibration, then scarcity and abundance are simply different frequencies. The more you operate in fear, stress, and limitation, the more you attract experiences that match that frequency. But the moment you shift into gratitude, trust, and expansion, you start aligning with abundance. So breaking scarcity isn't just about money. It's about shifting your entire vibration to be open to receiving. Exactly. And once you do that, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. You move from lack to creation, from waiting to receiving. So, here's your challenge for the week. Notice where scarcity shows up in your thoughts, your body, your actions. Where do you feel fear? Where do you hesitate to invest in yourself? Start shifting those moments, even in small ways. And as always, I want to hear from you. Have you struggled with a scarcity mindset? Have you started breaking free? Let's talk about it. Message me, leave a comment, and let's explore this together. Until next time, keep questioning, keep expanding, and remember, abundance is not something you chase, it's something you align with. How does this feel? Ready for episode 15. The new paradigm, how we heal and build a higher reality.